Lately, there have been some non-orchid plants that have been taking up my focus and attention, and I want to share some of them with you today, and those are going to be carnivorous plants. Now, this isn't my first foray into carnivorous plants, but it is in this particular genus, and I'm going to be talking about pinguiculas, which are butterworts. These plants are known for their sticky leaves and beautiful flowers. Compared to orchids, these plants are pretty fast growers and fairly low maintenance, and I find that the pinguiculas are great companion plants to indoor growing orchids. So I have some by a windowsill and some under lights, and I think it works really well with my orchid collection. Another thing I like about these plants is that I get to pot them up in these cool little containers, and I can set them up kind of like mini bonsai arrangements. Most of these plants are fairly compact and small, so they don't take up too much space, but as they grow, they will have some side rosettes and pups, but they will grow offshoots, and then it'll be kind of like a nice little clump of plants. So recently I picked up 2 new pings, and they are species. So first I have a collection of hybrids, but this is my foray into species. So I'm not sure how those will do in my care, but I think if they're anything like their hybrids, they'll be fairly easy to take care of. So the first one is the pinguicula. Now this one is known for its red flowers, and it has kind of a pinkish reddish tinge to the leaves as well. So if it has, so when it's grown in high light conditions, the leaves will definitely turn that pinkish hue. And if it's in slightly shadier conditions, then it'll probably revert to green. Now, the next plant is the Pinguiculas. Now this one is known for its purple flowers, and it has kind of a purplish bluish tinge to the leaves. This plant came with a bonus plant, and it's the Moriensis crossed with Emarginata. So the flowers of this plant should be white, and the leaves will stay nice and green. I'm going to pot up the Loiana and the Cyclosecta together in its own pot to see how these ones will do, and then I'll put the bonus plant with my other hybrids and have them be a nice little clump together. So as you can tell from the haul, the pings come bare root. It has maybe a little bit of dirt on the roots, but it doesn't have a very robust root system, and that's totally fine. That's normally how they grow. They're very shallow rooted, and they kind of lay on top of the soil. That makes it really easy to pot up because all you have to do is have some soil. I have kind of a mix of peat and sand and a little bit of perlite on this mix. So after potting it up, I'm just going to leave it alone, let it acclimate to my environment before I try to change its lighting setup or any other kind of setup. I'm watering it about every day, every other day, depending on how wet the media looks. And when it comes to taking care of carnivorous plants, I think more water is better than less. And so most of the time they're either sitting in trays of water, and in these specific pots, I kind of water it till I see a little bit of water at the soil level or a little bit below. The only thing is that when they go into their dry season or their kind of a hibernation, then they'll create these succulent leaves, and they won't be carnivorous leaves. So they won't trap any insects when they go into that kind of tight rosette. And in that case, the pings like to dry out a little bit, so it can dry up to a couple of days in between. And so that's pretty forgiving. So as for the rest of my collection, I'll share with you a couple of the hybrids that I have. I also have the hybrid called Neon Raspberry, and that's Moriensis crossed with Loiana. That one should have kind of hot pink magenta flowers, and they're going to be slightly on the larger side. And the last one is the Rectifolia crossed with the Marginata. Now this plant has been the most proliferous of the ones that I've had, and it's actually in bloom. So it has this purple flower with a little bit of dark purple veining throughout, and it is really quite stunning. Pinguiculas have really interesting flowers because it has a little bit of a spur in the back, and basically that means that this one is going to be hummingbird pollinated. So all of these flowers are high away from the base of the plant, so that it doesn't catch its pollinator. So far they're already doing their work and doing their job. They've caught a couple of fungus gnats already, and in the beginning I thought it would be kind of unsightly to see bugs attach and move and twitch on these leaves, but eventually the juices that are secreted by the leaves kind of desiccate out the bugs, and so you don't really notice it as much, or maybe just you get used to it after a while. They don't really need a huge surface area in order to capture these pests. So I thought it was kind of cool, kind of interesting, And so far I'm just sharing with you the ones that I have, and as they bloom and as they grow and proliferate, hopefully I'll be able to share some with other people, and hopefully be able to find some cool varieties and hybrids and also flower colors. My knowledge has increased a lot about these plants, and also I heard that they're discovering a lot more of these types of plants in Mexico and South America, so I think that's kind of building the excitement around these plants. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, my carnivorous plant Pinguicula collection, and I hope that this kind of inspires you to kind of try something new, or if you have dealt with carnivorous plants before, you can give me some tips on how to grow them better and even how to display them in new and interesting ways. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!